shit, the world is really going off the goddamn deep end now, isn't it? 2019 is actual hell. Confirmed. This shit is so fucked, I think I may be better off just blowing my brains out right here and now and saving myself the trouble. Now, everyone knows that modern day smear journalism is circling the toilet as it is, but it's reached a staggering new low today with the publication of yet another predictable and disingenuous hit piece aimed at, yep, you guessed it, the main threat forcing these shameless fuckboys into increasingly embarrassing attempts to save themselves from oblivion. Gaming YouTubers, the scourge of the internet, apparently. Yes, Christ on the motherfucking cross, bitch. It's no coincidence that the author of this perverse assault on the English language has chosen to target the very people threatening to drive his occupation even further into irrelevancy. This can only be described as a vulgar and obvious exercise in the most profound hypocrisy imaginable. How curious that the so-called negative gaming YouTubers appear to have a direct correlation to the prevalence of manipulative microtransactions and the quality of AAA games all of a sudden falling off a motherfucking cliff. Perhaps they're related. We begin with a gross image of a white guy, naturally, and the caption, "Why are gamers angry?" I'm guessing this is supposed to be cynical and sort of tongue-in-cheek, but the writer's complete lack of self-awareness throughout the duration of this literary heresy is so thorough that I can't really be sure. Now, before we go any further, allow me to answer that question for anyone unironically asking. Gamers are angry because in recent years, our lifelong pastime has been hijacked and co-opted by mainstream capitalist industry. This has directly resulted in gaming and everything with even a peripheral association with it being drowned in an avalanche of exploitation and shameless monetization. People who for years have engaged in sincere and heartfelt discourse regarding their hobby of choice are now being targeted with manufactured outrage by mainstream journalists who previously had all but ignored our little corner of the entertainment industry. Gosh, who would do such a thing, I wonder? This steaming pile of excrement masquerading as journalism kicks things off with a three-step process fabricated to insult and diminish the creative process of gaming YouTubers. How to make a successful video on one of the internet's most popular sites. Step 1. Find something to be angry about. Go to online forums, track what's hot on Twitter, and figure out the outrage of the day. Step 2. Rant into a camera for 10 minutes. Step 3. Profit. Here's how fucking stupid this is. I'll just go ahead and fix this up real quick to illustrate how this guy is doing the exact same fucking thing. How to make a successful article on one of the internet's failing journalism sites. Step 1. Find something people are passionate about. Go to YouTube and Twitter. Figure out who's talking about it that you can target and smear with false outrage. Step 2. Jerk your useless penis over your keyboard and fail to come for 10 minutes. Step 3. Profit. See, isn't it funny? Yep, that's how moronic this idiot fuck is. He is doing the exact same thing he's accusing gaming YouTubers of doing. Here's the difference though. The people he's targeting are genuinely passionate about what they're discussing. They're motivated by a sincere desire to inform, discuss, and generate conversation about the hobby they love. The money they earn from doing it is a byproduct of them expressing their sincere affection, not the goal. I don't know why this would come as a surprise, but devoting yourself to something you love has been a way creatives have turned their passion into a career for decades, probably centuries. Not to mention how easily true fans of any medium can see through insincere attempts to cater to them. My father used to say to me, "Do what you love, the money will follow." And my father is a smart fucking man who incidentally supported our family by starting his own business doing something he loved. Holy shit, imagine that. The goal of this cocksucker, on the other hand, is to get paid first and foremost. Fuck the consequences or collateral damage, a fact demonstrated by the transparent ways he hurls baseless accusations at people whose only crime is to actually care about gaming. Yeah, you've coerced advertisers into abandoning channels they previously supported, and maybe the owners of those channels may struggle to provide for their families now, but fuck it, right? You just cashed a check from irrelevantgamejournalist.com. Stuff my fucking sad pussy. The author now moves on to poor attempts at dictating what things we as fans of gaming are permitted to be critical of. And spoiler alert, according to him, there aren't any. Bugs, bad stories, poorly executed controls, microtransactions, these are all irrelevant and above reproach if you listen to this piece of shit. If you're upset about the controls in the new Devil May Cry, please note that you're not permitted actually to dislike them. Any negative criticism you may have is in reality just faux outrage you've conjured up to make money. You don't actually feel this way. Maybe you thought the story in Anthem was the literary equivalent of a sad paper cup filled only a third of the way with stale semen. I know you're panicking right now, but I have good news. According to games journalists, that was all just a fever dream you concocted as an excuse to have something to complain about. It wasn't real and you aren't upset. There is no semen. Never mind that you spent $60 from a paycheck that you earned doing actual work on this game, and now you're not happy with your purchase. Oh no, that doesn't count, that doesn't matter. Gaming journalists, professional gaming journalists, have decided collectively that you're not allowed to be upset by that particular thing, so go fuck yourself. That brilliant bit of exposition is then followed up by a claim that some attacks can get personal, criticizing members of the gaming community for their looks or perceived political beliefs. And? What's the problem here? Are members of the gaming community off limits for criticism now too? I'm not saying giving people shit is nice, but fuck, shit isn't nice sometimes. I reserve the right to talk all the shit I want about anyone for any reason. Oh, did someone's feelings get hurt by a person on the internet? Boo fucking who? Cry me a goddamn river. You don't like it? Get the fuck off the internet. You might see something you don't like on there. When I was a kid, people called you names to your face, and if you didn't like it, you couldn't just stop looking at your phone, you had to deal with it. And usually, dealing with it meant getting your ass beat. If I didn't want people to call me a faggot on my way home from the bus stop, I had to take a different way home. I couldn't just log out of Twitter. This shit is just so fucking pathetic. I heard someone the other day saying that they didn't understand how people became so thin-skinned all of a sudden, and it occurred to me. It's not that people are thin-skinned now or can't take a joke. People are just as capable of enduring shit-talking as they ever were. What's changed is that now victimhood is a currency earned by virtue signaling on the internet that can be exchanged for real money via hate clicks and ad revenue, as evidenced quite effectively by this tripe we currently have the displeasure of reading. All this is summed up by the next statement here. There's no single formula, and the YouTubers have taken different tacks, such as high production videos with formal scripts or off-the-cuff rambling, but all rely on the same strategy. Getting the audience angry. Oh, jerk my fucking penis, Dad. Then there's a link to some brainwashed Access Media flunky complaining about the same type of thing, citing a scrolling list of video titles from respected figures in the community, like Bellular, Jeremy from the Quartering, Upper Echelon Games, many others. Can you just leave Jeremy over there at the Quartering alone, please? He's such a nice man. Let's go through these examples and determine their validity, shall we? Yes, let's. It'll just be so fun, I'm sure of it. So first up, Bethesda bans YouTubers for exposing glitches. Did this happen? Yes, it did. After the embarrassment of Fallout 76, Bethesda started... I'm sorry, Bethesda is just so goddamn brainless. It's like all of a sudden, at some point out of nowhere, in like the last year or so, someone came in and lobotomized them with a fucking hacksaw. Like their brains all just poured out their fucking ass or something. What the hell happened over there? Anyway, so after the embarrassment of Fallout 76, Bethesda started banning people who were exposing their idiocy by putting them on blast for all the glitches in the game, some of which were leftovers from relics in the engine code dating back as far as Skyrim, a game almost a decade old. Are some people justifiably upset about this? Factually, and in my opinion, yes. Moving on. Next up, Borderlands review bombed. Did this happen? Again, yes. Gearbox predictably opted to suckle generously at the testicles of their greedy overlords at Epic Games while accepting a bribe from them to prevent Steam users from purchasing Borderlands 3. Normal humans who don't like being taken from behind unawares by the enormous throbbing cock of billion-dollar corporations objected to having anti-consumer business practices forced upon them. When this occurred, naturally, Gearbox ignored all the feedback and concerns directed at them over this dubious choice, so people did what history has shown us they usually do when they're being ignored by those in power. They resorted to the only avenue remaining to them that would allow their voice to be heard. In this case, it took the form of review bombing earlier installments of the previous Borderlands games on Steam, thus hitting Gearbox somewhere they would actually care about, their wallet. And lo and behold, what a shocker. Shield Media and Access journalists don't want people talking about this, so instead of reading their articles, people then flocked to YouTubers who were willing to provide honest information and sincere opinions about it. I know, like, amazing. I could never have predicted that would occur. It's so shocking. People must be manufacturing outrage. They must be angry for no reason, right? Next up, Bethesda breaks their Fallout 76 cosmetics only promise and people are angry. Did this happen? Yep, absolutely it did. Bethesda initially promised that all the microtransactions in Fallout 76 would be cosmetic only, and then, of course, later decided to implement repair kits in the in-game store, effectively breaking their promise. Where exactly is the manufacturer angry here? So far, all I see is companies doing shady shit and some people legitimately upset by it. Anyway, so we've confirmed that all these events did occur. We've confirmed that people are actually upset in response to those events. Please explain to me what the problem is here. The majority of us have been avid fans of the video game industry most of our lives, sharing in the success and failures of it over the years. We've always spoken critically about it. The only thing that has changed here is that suddenly we're a threat to the conventional media outlets. Their ad revenue is dropping. People aren't visiting their sites as much. Clicks are down. Do you think anyone actually gives a fuck what IGN says about a game? Give me a fucking break. Polygon is a joke at this point, more a meme of SJW pandering than an actual website. And Kotaku. Whew. Good fucking God, Kotaku. My sweet summer child. I'm mortified that there was a time, however brief, that I couldn't recognize your woke garbage for what it was. Now that people have the insight and opinions of real, genuine game fans to compare to the articles on these garbage tier websites, they're exposed for what they are. Just another cog in the marketing engine of major industry giants and publishers determined to control gaming. Bought and paid for long ago, just like the pathetic fucks that support them. Clean Prince Gaming is quoted here next, saying, "I myself have not done a great job of perpetuating positivity." As if that's his fucking job, to be the PR department for these publishers? You want to perpetuate positivity? Here's a suggestion, make a good fucking game for a change. How typical of the state of the industry now. Made a bad game? Blatantly lied to your loyal customers? Shamelessly exploited people to trick them into giving you all their money? Don't make a better game, apologize, or change your anti-consumer practices. Just blame your customers instead and call them negative or entitled. It costs less. I guess that's what we should expect for being reasonable human beings. And just a pro tip, real quick, for those of you who may be confused, these companies, they don't give a fuck about you, and they certainly didn't ask you to go around publicly shaming yourself by sticking up for them. You're voluntarily doing that. Think about that for a second. They want to take your money. That's it. You can get fucked for all they care. First, they came for people guilty of wrongthink under the guise of policing hate speech. But that wasn't enough. Oh no. It didn't silence enough people and profits were still falling. Now they're moving on to targeting people guilty of the high crime of negativity. As if just raping people under the scarlet banner of hate speech weren't nebulous enough, now we're using the term negativity to spread an even wider net. Anytime you tell the truth or point out the errors or flaws in a product of one of these fucking companies, expect to be silenced. They even got, Boogie. They even got poor fucking Boogie on this shit saying, well, people love negativity. Oh, really, genius? Please tell me something else I don't know. What color is the sky? How flat is the earth exactly? What does 1 + 1 equal? Get the fuck out of here with that nonsense. As if this is some major revelation and negativity and its inbred brother toxicity over there is a 21st century invention that didn't exist prior to 1999. Guess what? Sometimes shit sucks. Sometimes it's awesome. Humans gravitate more towards the former. Just ask the evening fucking news. I don't see shit dicks like this asshole crying for Fox News to perpetuate positivity and show more stories about how many kittens were rescued this week instead of how many minorities were gunned down by the cops. But Fox News isn't slowly pushing gaming journalists into obsolescence, is it? YouTubers are, though. Quite a fucking coincidence, huh? Fucking hell. Alright, let's wrap things up here. Now, do I like or even agree with half of these YouTube goons? Not necessarily, no. But do I think that some feckless halfwit claiming to be a journalist, writing for some irrelevant website that's probably days away from going Chapter 11, should have a platform for which they can try to hurt those people and those for which they provide? Absolutely not. Now, don't get it twisted. None of this is actually even about negativity, toxicity, hate speech, inclusion, diversity, toxic masculinity, mansplaining, being problematic, troubling trends, misogyny, homophobia, transphobia, sexism, male privilege, nationalism, triggers, bias, inequality, victimization, the patriarchy, feminism, white supremacy, racism, gender identity, bigotry, slut-shaming, fat-shaming, extremism, bullying, oppression, microaggressions, or any other post-2015 buzzwords the old guard of the access media has been tirelessly firing at anyone that gets too close to their fucking ad revenue. It's about money. That's it. Nothing else. If you or anyone else is doing anything that may even approach fucking with the money of one of these multi-billion-dollar corporations, they will fuck you. That's all there is to it, and that's all this is. Shame on you fuckers.